My biggest concern is DeAndre Ayton. DeAndre Ayton was signed here in the offseason, bought out by the Blazers, gave money back to Portland so he can be able to become a free agent and take the buyout. Wanted to sign the Lakers because there was opportunity here, being on the big stage, being able to rehabilitate his career because his career is pretty much on life support just because of the bad I wouldn't even say bad attitude because he doesn't have a bad attitude. It's just more of a guy that's underachieved, a guy that's been labeled as unserious, that doesn't play hard enough to be a great. Those are labels you don't want as an athlete. You come here so you can be able to kind of repair that image, so you can be able to have a decent career or, stay with the Lakers or catapult yourself somewhere else. There's nothing wrong with that. Everything started off fine in regards to him accepting his role, and then all of a sudden, the old DeAndre Ayton starts to come out. The fact that you're not hustling down court, you're not hustling to get rebounds, you're not hustling in regards to closeouts, you're not hustling trying to defend the block, you're not blocking a lot of shots, you're getting taken out of games, you're just not being effective, and then you have this thing where if you don't get the ball early, you start to pout when they need you to be aggressive, to run the floor hard, to rebound, to set screens. So had an interview with him, reporters, and he's talking about certain things. He's just like, yeah, just trying my best to fit in and all this other stuff. And then he walked away. But while he walked away, came back and really said, yeah, they trying to make me into Clint Capela. Now, for you, Silent Assassin, you don't know who Clint Capela is. Clint Capela is a center that's been in the league for a while, but he was a role-playing type of guy. He's a center that ran the floor, rebound, block shots, caught an occasional lob or two a game, but he wasn't a guy that they dropped the ball down into the block and said, hey, go get me a bucket. He was more of a not conventional, or a modern style big man. Just run the floor, be energetic, help on defense, block shots, rim protect, rebound, catch some lobs, hustle. That's all we want you to do. DeAndre Ayton feels that he's not built for that role. That's not his game. And he very well is telling the truth. That isn't his game. But here's where now I have to ask a serious question. When you played your game, where did it get you? So that's why a lot of people have to realize about relationships, right? And I always like to bring it back to that because you go ahead and you get into a new situation. You go ahead and tell your partner or tell your significant other, oh, well, this is what I did in my last relationship. This is the things that I was used to in my last relationship. What do you think is going to happen in your current relationship? That person's going to say, well, you can go back to that that old relationship if you keep talking about it. Like what this relationship is and how we're going to go ahead and move forward is that I'm going to challenge you. I may ask you to do some things that you've never done, not anything without your consent or anything devious, but it's like, listen, if you are not comfortable because you never did something, I'm going to see if I can challenge you to be able to open your eyes, to be able to experience new things. There's nothing wrong with that, and vice versa. If you are closed off to that, then you're not in the business of growing. You're not in the business of evolving as a person or evolving as a person in a relationship. You can evolve by yourself, but you don't need to be with nobody right now. DeAndre Ayton is kind of the same way. You can't tell people, oh, well, I'm trying to be Clint. You should be happy to be fucking Clint Capela. Clint Capela was a pretty damn good center. He played on some good teams. He was a very good role player. And there's a reason why he's still in the NBA right now is because he understood how to play his role. You want to go ahead and be the main character of the story when you're not. You're lazy. You don't play great defense. You can finish around the rim, but when you do get the ball, you pout. You don't need that. We need somebody that's going to be serious and take their craft seriously. There was another guy that had a history of being a malcontent. Former first-round pick. Had every reason to say, I was a first-round pick. I got to the NBA Finals. I was a franchise guy. I'm not playing nobody's role player. So you know what that person did? They said, look, at this stage of my career, where I am, in regards to me having to rehabilitate my game and my image, I am willing to do anything that you ask me to do. If you want me to rebound, I'll be the best rebounder on your team. You want me to block shots? I'll make sure that I hustle after every block shot. You want me to go ahead and play defense on the best low post guy? I'll go ahead and start throwing elbows. You want me to sit here and not play because of matchup reasons? I'll be the biggest cheerleader here on the team. Whatever you need me to do, I'll do. That guy's name was Dwight Howard. Dwight Howard was a superstar, went to LA the first time, didn't work out, left, saw that the grass wasn't greener, had a whole bunch of bad stints in different places, got out. He was at the point where he was out of the league. Nobody wanted him. And he begged the Lakers to get on that championship team in 2020, played his role and won a championship for the first time in his career. So when you go ahead and you do things out of your norm, you take that risk and mature and say, this is what I'm going to do now. Because who's to say that DeAndre Ayton doesn't go ahead and play this role, plays it well, and then somebody's like, yo, we definitely want to give you more of an opportunity to be able to have an expanded role. I like what you did here because you did what you were asked. Now can you be able to give us more if we ask you to provide us with more? And you know what the answer would be? Sure. Of course I can. But a lot of people don't like to play the game. And it looks like DeAndre Ayton doesn't want to play the game. So here's my message to DeAndre Ayton. You keep playing like this or you keep talking like this, you're going to be in the first thing smoking. I don't care if you got a player option. You're going to go ahead and accept that player option if you want. And then they're going to go ahead and turn you around. Pause. They're going to go ahead and trade you somewhere where they can be able to try to get some type of asset for you. Because at the end of the day, you signed up with the Lakers to do what they asked you to do in that role. There was no way you were going to be a superstar with Austin Reeves, with Luka Doncic, and LeBron James on the same team. There was no way that you thought that you were going to get the same touch. Who's touching the basketball when you got three of those guys on the court? You got to find a way to be effective, and if you're not effective, then you get the fuck out of here. But I can't stand the diva mentality. It's the reason why he fell out of favor in Phoenix. There's a reason why he fell out of favor in Portland. It's because of your bad behavior. It's because that you think that you're better than what you are. It's enough already. This Laker team is not good right now. And here's the rub. They're not good with you on the court either. Per 100 possessions, they are like minus 2.5 points or something like they're not a good team when he's out there, which means that the numbers and the data back it up. You may need to get up out of here, bro. And if you failed with the brightest lights on you, I don't know what the next step is for you. I don't know what the next contract looks for you, honestly. If you want to go ahead and go play this nonsense, talking about you're pretty much voicing your displeasure about how you're being used. This is a playoff team that's trying to go ahead and make some noise in the playoffs. You need to play a role. And if you play that role to perfection, you may end up getting rewarded in the end. That's how it works. sacrifice. Sometimes the star players are not the ones that have to sacrifice on a team. The stars are the stars. The role players are the ones that have to sacrifice, because many role players can be able to do a lot more than what the team asks them to do. But when you can be able to tuck your ego and say that this is what I'm going to do for this team, it's because that's what is asked of me, you'll end up reaping the rewards faster than anybody else. But a lot of people don't realize that because they're selfish and they can't see the bigger picture. So we'll see what happens with DeAndre Ayton. But if it was up to me, I'd send his ass to Mars right now. I would.